Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Hello A-team, and for my new subscribers, hello, how are you? My name is Aisha, very nice to meet you. Okay, this channel is a brand new channel and I'm getting so much love, so much support. My little heart cannot contain it. Guys, today I'm coming at you with another story time video. Yes. And this story time video is about the time that I was friends with this girl who literally tried to be me and basically pretended to be my friend to get with the guy that liked me. Yeah, there's a lot going on. Anyways, before we jump into the video, do not forget to turn on the post notifications so that you guys are notified every time that I post. And also do not forget to follow me on Instagram. I will insert my Instagram right here, and also my Instagram link will be in the description box below. And without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay guys, so this story basically starts kind of all the way back to first grade. This is actually when I moved to Long Island. I was born in Brooklyn and I moved to Long Island when I was 5 or 6. So basically I feel like I grew up here. This is what I know. And there was a girl that I pretty much went to school with. This girl actually in particular, I went to school with elementary through college. And the way that a lot of the school systems are set up in Long Island is they go by district. So you go to school with the same people that you grew up with, basically, or you go to school with the same people from elementary school throughout high school, at least. So I've always known her, like I said, in elementary, didn't really pay too much attention to her. I remember in 6th grade, we had gym class together, and I asked her one time, I was like, I asked anyone really. I said, does anybody have a sweatshirt that I could wear? Because I didn't really care for gym. I mean, let's be honest, like gym wasn't really my thing, you know? So she was like, oh, I do. So the sweatshirt that she gave me had yellow pit stains on them. Yeah, I was really concerned that she did that. Anyway, so of course I did not wear that sweatshirt, but thank you for the offer. So I realized pretty early on, because naturally I've always been a very hygienic person. I realized very early on that she has very poor hygiene. She clearly doesn't recognize that she has yellow pit stains on almost all of her clothing. And she was giving them out to people if they'd ask. And it's nice that you want to give somebody your sweatshirt if they ask, but you have to be mindful of what you're giving them. I mean, I'm just saying. So fast forward, I remember around 8th grade, she started dressing a bit different, wearing her hair differently. And I started recognizing her and I was like, oh, hey, let's name her Catherine. Now, please, if any of my subscribers' name is Catherine, please do not be offended. I literally am just throwing this name out there. It's a random name and it's not the real name of the person who it actually is. So I was like, oh, you look so amazing, Catherine. And I started talking to her. Me growing up, I was always very girly, very feminine. Just a fun fact, I actually won best dress in school. So I guess she took to me, because of that, but I didn't know that at the time. But I just started noticing that she started dressing different, and I love complimenting people genuinely. So I was like, oh, you look so nice today, yada, yada, yada. Fast forward to 9th grade. We had classes together, and we specifically had math class together. And I remember, I would notice certain odors and things of that nature. And certain people, they knew that, we hung out a lot. So they would tell me, oh, your friend, smells, or whatever the case is. So me being a good friend, I said to her, hey, since we have off every other day, 6th period, I don't know why I thought of it like this, but I was young. So I said, every other day, how about we go to the bathroom and we freshen up and, I don't know, fix our makeup. I told her about wipes because I always have wipes with me and things like that. So that's what we started doing. And then I remember there was this guy who's actually Brian from my other story time video. He had the crush on me. And I don't know, basically, I remember one day I broke my cell phone, or I broke it on purpose because I wanted another one. It was Christmas time and I knew I was going to get a new cell phone. So back in that time, AIM was popular. So she would instant message him on her own, and I would basically just ask them what they were talking about. And also, for some reason, I know this sounds so bizarre and crazy, but I think I told her to text him for me or to take his number for me until I get my new phone. One of those things. So, because for some reason, I guess I was 14, I just didn't want him to think I didn't have a phone, even though I could have very well just said, I'm getting a new phone because my phone is broken. Or maybe I did tell him I'm getting a new phone, my phone is broken, but take my friend's number instead so that I have your number anyway. I don't know what I was thinking. I couldn't tell you guys what my logic was. But fast forward, I started noticing that she would tell me, oh, I'm going to hang out with Brian today. And I was very, very naive. And she told me one time that he came over her house and she made him pancakes and they watched movies. And me at the time, I was thinking, oh, that's nice. I don't know why. I was very naive and very nonchalant about a lot of things. So, and I was always in my own world. So I never thought that people were capable of doing, certain things that just weren't okay. I just didn't think that people would do things like that to me, especially someone that is, my friend. So, she would be hanging out with him. And I remember my older friends would say, I don't trust this girl. You need to watch out for her. And I was being defensive about it. I was like, listen, guys, come on. She's my friend. I don't think she's doing anything with this guy. Like, come on. I was 14 and I didn't think other 14-year-olds were doing anything, either, but I was wrong. Can I tell you? So anyways, fast forward, MySpace was popular when I was in 9th grade. And I remember she started dressing different and wearing colored contacts, and I got bangs on my hair. And so she got bangs on her hair. And then I remember she just started acting really different towards me. Everything that I was teaching her, basically, she was, I guess, acting as if she originated it. And yeah, that was very strange. And so I remember specifically one day, I asked her, I was like, hey, do you like Brian? Because I started feeling intuitively that she liked him and she just wasn't owning up to it. And she used her math book for some reason as a partial diary. So one day she literally got up and went to the bathroom. And let me tell you, I went through that thing. I absolutely did. Get out of here. I opened that thing up. I saw that she literally had a whole, page written about Brian saying, oh, I like Brian so much. And he's so cute. And I love that we are hanging out, and basically that they made out, all this stuff. And she couldn't obviously say that to my face. And genuinely, I think at the time, I was so young, I was never the type to be boy crazy. So I genuinely don't think I would have cared. If she would have told me, yeah, I do like him, I would have just been like, okay, then you can have him. Because to me, it wasn't really that serious. I wasn't into, the boy phase, really, at 14 years old. But that was just me. And she was, but I didn't actually really think she was about that life, but she really was. And it just got really crazy. I remember one day she blocked me on MySpace for no reason. I don't even understand what I did, but it just started getting real weird real fast. And I noticed that every time she would, it's not FaceTime, that's so 2018. Every time, there was an app for video chat called Ovu. I don't know if anybody remembers that. You know, comment down below if you guys remember the app Ovu. So every time you get on Ovu, all she cared about is, oh my God, so what are you wearing tomorrow? What are you wearing tomorrow? What are you wearing tomorrow? Because I used to plan my outfits a week ahead. And that was literally how I was. I really don't know why I was like that, but I would plan my outfits out a week ahead, and she'd always be more interested and invested in what it is that I was wearing as opposed to us actually talking as friends. And I did start to notice that, and it did bother me, but for some reason I just never really mentioned it and brought it up. And I guess I would make the conversation a bit shorter and just like hang up, but I kind of felt bad if I ignored her question, if she was asking me what I was wearing. And then I started catching on to it. So I'd say something like, oh, I don't know, I'm probably just going to pick out my outfit, you know, tomorrow morning, the day of school or something. I just stuttered so fast that it sounded like a legit glitch. Anyway, so yeah, that was how I was starting to avoid her, you know, basically getting outfit ideas from me as if I'm her wardrobe stylist and fashion consultant. You know, and ordinarily I wouldn't mind helping my friend, but I just knew even right then and there that it was coming from a different place. So after that whole thing, I basically came to the realization and the truth that she was actually, I believe, sleeping with this guy. So I went into the cafeteria, not my proudest moment, but I definitely put her on blast in front of everyone. And the guy himself, Brian, you know, got involved and kind of pulled me away. I mean, I wasn't fighting her or anything, but I was, you know, just putting her on blast and yelling at her because she was pretending to be my friend and trying to get the guy that I wanted to get with. And me being older now, I realize in retrospect that this whole time she was just so obsessed with me. She wanted to be me so bad that, you know, unfortunately in the end, you know, when she realized she couldn't do that, she got really, really mentally ill. I mean, guys, this is a true story. I'm not making this up. In fact, one of my friends who watched my story time from my last story time video, she's the one that actually recommended that I tell this story time video because she remembered. And I was thinking to myself, how did I forget this monumental moment in my life where this person was this way? So soon after that situation, obviously we didn't really speak much. And then I think we started speaking again around 11th grade. Why? Because 10th grade, I had my own drama going on. 10th grade was basically all of my last story time, to be honest. And it's so interesting because one of the main girls that was involved in creating the fake Facebooks and everything, she actually became friends with, which I didn't find out until years later when her and I were still friends. We'd be in her car and I'd see that girl texting her and I'm like, why are you friends with that girl? She literally hates me for no reason. I've never done anything to her. And sidebar, I actually saw that girl. Let's call her Tia. I actually saw Tia in this store in Harmon's and she gave off the most nastiest vibe ever. Like she was just, oh my God. I was thinking to myself, wow, you still don't like me, huh? Man, I really feel bad for her. I feel bad for her. How can you really give out that energy? How can you really genuinely dislike someone that you've never really spoken to? I'm so genuinely concerned and confused. You can't help them all. I'll tell you that much. Anyways, back to the story. So like I said, I found out that she basically was friends, you know, with this girl in 11th grade. We started hanging out more and more. And that didn't really bother me that much. I mean, whatever, I didn't really care because I didn't realize how significant it was. And come to think of it, I was actually talking about this with one of my friends. I was talking about my last story time with one of my friends and they were telling me, you know, maybe it was her that was telling, you know, the guy that I was seeing before, the one that my crazy psycho ex, it was her telling him where I was all these times, because I was trying to figure out how he always knew where I was, and it was probably her. This whole time, she was plotting my demise and trying to be my friend. I mean, talk about a true psychopath, guys. I mean, really, really. It takes a lot of energy and a lot of dedication to really pretend to be someone's friend, tell this person what they told you. I mean, some people must be really miserable that this is making their lives fun. You know what I mean? So we were hanging out a lot, in 11th grade. She would come over my house, all this stuff. And I think the reason why our friendship always escalated so quickly, to being super close, it's because, one, we didn't live too far from one another, and two, we basically have known of each other, for a long time. Fast forward, I remember in middle school, actually, was it middle school or high school? It was high school. I remember one day I was in science class and she asked me to come down to the psychologist's office, and she was hysterically crying. And I don't really even remember why. I just remember her saying, Aisha, like, don't leave me, and literally crying on my shoulder. And I was there for her in these moments, and she literally didn't care. She seemed to have forgotten all this stuff, while she was talking about me, trying to be me. I even remember, fast forward, our relationship was just always rocky. And even in 12th grade, I got nominated for homecoming queen. And, well, first you have to make homecoming court. And then, I don't remember how it goes. Oh my God, high school feels so long ago. People randomly nominate people in the grade. And then after that, the top 10, I think it's top 20, and then it's top 10, and then it's top 5. So I made it all the way through, of course. And actually, so did she. She made the top 5 too, I believe. And I heard, a rumor that she ripped one of my posters down, and I was livid, of course. I took myself right back to that cafeteria and I laid her right out in that cafeteria. And what kills me is the victim card. You know what I mean? You want to have all this strength to do things behind my back, but you can never be upfront and do things to my face. I personally, and I say this in the most kindest way, I am confrontational, but I know when to say what. And I also am aware of my surroundings, and I know I'm not ever attacking someone normally. Now, I don't attack people when I have something to say. So me confronting you, it has a negative connotation, but I can just be talking to you like this, and I just want to set the record straight. For her, that wasn't the case. I definitely did yell, because to me, it was offense after offense. 1 minute you're trying to take the guy that I'm talking to, you're lying about it, you're sleeping with him behind my back, you're literally telling, that guy, my ex-boyfriend, where I was at all times. You become best friends with the girl who literally was the ringleader at, making my fake Facebook profiles and everything. And I'm the one that's there for you all the time and hanging out with you, giving you fashion advice, all these things. And I just started realizing early on, even one discussion that we had, she would tell me, I don't get good looking guys like you do, so I can't, have the same type as you. And I'm just like, you don't have to have the same type as me. I don't understand why you feel like you need to. I think she was more frustrated with the fact that she couldn't get the guys that I got, and when I had my boyfriend in 12th grade, I know for a fact that she definitely found him attractive. Who wouldn't, honestly? He's really hot. But it was just I've trusted him, 100%. So I wasn't concerned about anything he was going to do. But I could just tell she'd be very blushy, every time he's around. And since I had a boyfriend in 12th grade, I don't really remember her and I's relationship because it was just so rocky. I only really remember her being my friend mainly in 8th grade, 9th grade, 11th grade, and then college. So we went to the same college, and I remember all of a sudden she literally started dressing like me. Literally. she'd wear the same heels as me. I was obsessed with Jeffrey Campbell Frida. Were they called Lolita? Lolita Jeffrey Campbell heels. Do any of my ladies know Jeffrey Campbell Lolita heels? Comment down below if you guys remember Jeffrey Campbell Lolita heels. I had so many of them. You know, the ones with the chunky heel. They honestly remind me of skates for some. I don't even know why, but those were my favorite shoes. They were really high, and I love high heels, and they were also very comfortable at the same time. So I'd wear those in like every color in the world to school all the time. And yes, if you guys are wondering, I definitely wore heels to school all the time. And this also, sidebar, goes to show, just be yourself, because every single person in school that made fun of me for, you know, dressing up to school, some people really admired that about me, and then some people would make fun of me, obviously out of jealousy, because they were so uncomfortable with the fact that I was so comfortable being myself. And people would try to say, oh, you're trying too hard. Why do you even care what you wear to school and all this stuff? It's just because I was always someone that took pride in my appearance, and that bothered them because they either couldn't dress like that, or they, you know, felt embarrassed if they were to dress like that. So they were projecting that onto me. And, you know, she tried, I saw, you know, wearing heels here and there, you know, when she could. But ultimately in college, that's when she really went full-fledged dressing like me. And I like to wear skirts more than pants. I mean, that's just how I am. And I noticed that she literally wear the Jeffrey Campbell heels that I had. She'd wear the skirts that I had. And she's a very slim framed person. And I remember at one point I was trying to lose weight, and I was never super duper, you know, overweight, but I definitely was a bit heavy for my size because I'm a small girl. I'm only 5'2", and I think for a long time I was 5 feet. And I remember when I was trying to, you know, lose weight, she, I think, would kind of make fun of me with the guy that she was seeing at the time, who also was trying to lose weight as well. And he did, actually. And I think a part of her enjoyed the fact that she felt like I was insecure about my weight. And it wasn't even that I was insecure about my weight. It was just more of the fact that I just wanted to be healthier, you know, during that time. And this was the first semester of college. All this started happening, which is when I started becoming more health conscious and things of that nature. And this is before I went plant-based, you know, and for me, it's just very difficult for me to lose weight and not be plant-based, but that's just me. And also I just feel better not consuming, you know, animals and dairy. So, eventually, I remember I lost the weight on my own, and we basically, our friendship around that point completely diminished. And I was thinking, how is it that when I literally lose weight, you know, our friendship basically dissipates into, I don't know, thin air? You know, that was very interesting to me, and I was taking note of that. I was like, what is going on here? And then I remember I was talking to her one time about, you know, some sort of business plan. And she was saying to me, yeah, I need to be your manager. I need to be your manager. And all I'm thinking in my head is, there is no way on God's green earth I would have you be my manager so that you can run away with more of my ideas and try to basically insert them into your DNA and basically act as if you originated them. Yeah, I mean, if I've learned anything this long, it's to not trust you, and I'm telling you that much, okay? I remember that there was a phase that I went through where I was getting my hair braided in Harlem, and she actually is the one that found the place, and we'd go get our hair done together, and our hair would take 7 hours because we would get the long Senegalese twist or long box braids. This is when long braids was really trending. And I've never really had black braids. Every time I get like twists or braids, and I would only really get twists because I didn't really like braids, I would mix colors. So then she started mixing colors. And I remember one time there was a color that I liked that she was gonna wear, and she basically was getting upset because I was telling her that I wanted to do a certain blonde look and she wanted to do the blonde look. And she was making it seem as though, well, we can't have this at the same time. Like basically making it seem like it's me or you. You're going to get it or I'm going to get it. We're not going to get it together. And I remember saying to her, why does it matter even if we did get the same hair? I barely see you anyway. You and I literally by this point only hang out when we get our hair done for that day, and then we literally go home. And I remember one day I was looking forward to hanging out with her still, you know, after we got our hair done. And as soon as we got back home, she literally would be like, oh, I gotta go, I'm going on a date. So be mindful of things like that also, guys, where somebody is your friend and they literally, I say literally so much, and I know I get it in the comments, people comment saying, oh my gosh, literally, I really need to work on that. I'm really sorry. And I feel like because I know this and I'm aware of it, I have to slow down my speech, but I'm just trying to keep up with all my thoughts because this story was so long ago. You have to be mindful of people that are always making plans and not trying to hang out with you. It's easy to overlook those things, but I noticed that she would make plans all the time and not even try to hang out with me at all and act as though she was so busy. And I just feel like all in all, she was even to this day, she's a very empty person. Psychologically, there is something really messed up. And I also want to add that fast forward, you know, we haven't spoken after, I'd say my first semester of college. We weren't really friends anymore because I lost weight at that time and I was very thin, way thinner than I am now, actually. And I guess that really bothered her because now she felt as though she had nothing over me or whatever the case is. But it's really sad because even when before I wanted to get healthier, I was still confident. I still felt as though I was beautiful. And I guess because that was the final straw for her, oh, you lost weight now too. She just didn't want to be around me anymore. Fast forward, I remember one day I got a phone call from one of our mutual friends, and she said, you really need to go to Tia's house and check on Tia because she's posting suicidal messages on Facebook. And so I went on Facebook and I saw that she posted something along the lines of, I'd rather be pushing daisies. Now, I haven't spoken to her again in probably a year and a half at that time. And so it's so funny how she always wants to downplay our friendship, but people are coming to me because they knew that I was her friend to go help her. Why are people coming to me if I'm allegedly not your friend? So I actually drove, I was in Brooklyn at the time, and I rushed home. I rushed to her house to go check on her. And when I got there, I saw her because she has some windows by her door. And she saw me and she literally told her dad, don't open the door for her. I am so confused. I'm the only person that came to check on you. I drove from Brooklyn, stopped what I was doing to go check on you, and you literally, there goes that word, say don't open the door for her. I mean, you would think that would literally be the final straw for me, but it wasn't. I remember even after that, we started talking again. Saying this out loud, I'm not even going to lie, is slightly pathetic and embarrassing because it's as though I couldn't get the hint. I wasn't accepting that this person was extremely toxic, and this person has me running around with like a chicken without a head, chasing after them. And I don't know what it is that just kept me going in this really cyclical, cycle. And I remember at one point things got really bad with her and her dad, and she told me that he was hitting her and she didn't have any food to eat. She was losing a lot of weight. So I remember it being around Thanksgiving a couple of years ago. So I said, okay, I will come to your house and I will drop some food off for you. And and she ultimately ended up not even coming outside, and I waited outside of her house for 3 hours. And the funny thing is, I actually spoke to my mom about it, and my mom kept noticing that I was always running to her rescue. And my mom said, you really need to start being mindful if she's actually telling the truth or not. And in my head, I'm thinking, well, who would make something like this up? But really, I think she was that disturbed that she was making things up in her head. And I remember some of our mutual friends reached out to her because they all heard what happened, and she couldn't give them an explanation of why she disliked me so much. To this day, none of our mutual friends, and ironically enough, I don't have any mutual friends with her anymore. I just realized. So all the people that we were mutual friends with at the time, they would ask her, what is your issue, with Aisha? And she was never able to identify that. But ultimately, she was just she was so obsessed with wanting to be me that when she realized she literally could not do it, she blew up. When she came to that realization of, I can't be her, I can't keep up with her. And the moral of the story, girls, is you have to be very aware of the people around you. And especially my subscribers that are in high school. I mean, I can't imagine what high school is like these days. And quite frankly, I'm glad I'm out. I'll tell you that much. Because it is tough. High school definitely is tough. Overall, I feel like I had a pretty good experience with the exception of 10th grade. I mean, good night. But I know that high school is very tough, and I know it's very hard. High school is so melodramatic. It's so hard to not, not dramatize events that happen in your life because they seem so huge and they seem so important. But it's so true when older people say, when you leave these doors after high school, none of the things that you went through in high school are going to matter. Ladies, that is exactly true. None of those things mattered after high school, And we dramatize so much because when you're in high school, you don't really have much going on except for, going to school, going home, going to school, going home. I'm sure some people have more responsibilities, but, not everyone's working or I don't know, at least at the time when I was in school or the school I went to, people weren't working that much, until I guess 17, 18, people started working. But the first that's why so much drama seems so grand and serious, because it's all you really have to think about is just going to school and going home. And so people really do have the time to make your life miserable if they really want to. And it's just being older now, you realize that you don't know what people are coming home to. People could be coming to an abusive home. So when they're at school, they lash out because that's their only way of feeling good, because they know that as soon as they go home, they're going to be hurt or their family's going to abuse them. Bullies really do bully people because there is something else going on with them. They can lie to themselves and tell themselves all day that it's just because it's funny. But really, you're going to come to learn that happy people do not hurt people. Only hurt people hurt people. When you're a happy person, you want to pour that onto others. There are no two ways about that. I'm telling you. So realizing all these things in retrospect, I realized that this person cannot be in my life. And all the way fast forward into adulthood, we actually this is when we still had mutual friends together. And there was a party that a mutual friend had, and she heard that I was showing up, and she was actually the designated driver. She heard that I was going, and it was in a public place, mind you. It wasn't even at someone's house. She literally stayed in her car and wouldn't leave the car because she heard that I was coming, as if I'm some sort of dangerous threat and I'm coming through to beat you up. I don't even speak to you. Are you that guilty that you think I'm going to attack you or something? First of all, I would not even put my hands on you. I don't put my hands on anyone, but I wouldn't put my hands on you. There's nothing to even talk about. Why are you so dramatic? Grow up. So fast forward later on that night, actually, she called my phone And so I answered, no answer. She hung up. I texted her and I said, did you just call me? And she says, yeah, I did. It was an accident. I had you in my favorites still. Are you guys hearing this? So I haven't spoken to you in a year and you have me in your favorites still. I'm very confused. And I was just like, okay. And then she said, yeah, and you're also still you're still listed as a contact on my medical records as an emergency contact. What is going on? I'm probably telling this story out of sequence, but I remember 1 year for my birthday. I don't even know what happened. It was during the time when I stayed outside her house for 3 hours for Thanksgiving to go give her some food. She was really, really distraught one day, and she was, I'm telling this story all over the place. Another incident is she was really distraught one day, and she went into work, I kid you not, 3 hours late at least. And I was sitting in the car consoling her, trying to figure out what's happening. She told me, oh, I'm reading my Bible now, all this stuff. I bought this book for her that was called What to Pray During Hard Times. And I actually wasn't even able to give it to her because we stopped being friends so shortly after that. And obviously, this is something that didn't even matter to her. She didn't even care. And then another time I remember, after this incident actually happened, fast forward, I thought everything was okay. Everything simmered down. Just life regularly happened. Nothing happened between us. And I remember my birthday came up. And she's watching my stories and everything. And I started feeling intuitively that she was purposely not saying happy birthday to me. She knows when my birthday is. This is not a shock. She didn't just meet me yesterday. She has known me. I have known her literally since we were 6, 7 years old. She's not an idiot. And I basically messaged her and I said, is there a reason why you didn't say happy birthday to me? I don't remember how I worded it, basically, but she blew up on me. She said, congratulations for finally speaking the truth. You're pathetic. I don't ever want anything to do with you in my life again. You're right. I didn't say happy birthday to you because you're not my friend. I was just so confused. I had no idea. That brought my vibe really way, way down. I'm not even going to lie to you because I was so blindsided by that. And it also sucked because intuitively I felt that something was wrong and I was right. So that also is what sucked, that the negative thing that I was thinking actually turned out to be true, that she was purposely not acknowledging the fact that it was my birthday. And then I blocked her number. Then she went forward to email me and she said that good riddance. She hopes that I die. She said that I am pathetic. I have no life. I project all of my issues onto her. I was just in such disbelief because it felt as though I was fighting with a literal stranger because the things that she was saying had nothing to do with me. They didn't. I felt so out of touch with what she was saying. I just had to let the girl talk because I just don't know where this was coming from. You know, fast forward, I came to the realization that she actually was doing, drugs. I had no idea. She was, she went to rehab. Her dad sent her to rehab at one point. She was just off and on drugs. And, she tried to, kill herself a couple of times. I tried to be there for her as much as I could. But for some reason, she just kept rejecting my help or accepting it and then dropping off the face of the earth and then blaming me for it. You know what I mean? And I started realizing it is not my job to be your mom. I cannot take my life away and dedicate it to you because especially that one time I waited outside of your house for 3 hours and you don't even show up. You don't give me an explanation, nothing. You call me again. I show up to take you to work. You're crying. in my car for 3 hours. I cannot keep doing this anymore. It's not me, it's you. It is. Enough. So I was just done, and that's pretty much the end of this story, guys. I really want you ladies, and especially young ladies, to understand, especially the main theme on this channel is to value yourself so that you do not make these decisions, these poor decisions of accepting friendships from people that you shouldn't be friends with, that you should have threw away a long time ago, and even with men, accepting, their behavior, when you really should be moving on, it's 2019 soon, guys. I don't know how far we are away from it. Who knows? Very close. Enough. No more toxicity in 2019. That goes for in your body. That goes for mentally, spiritually. Stop contributing to toxic situations. Remove yourself. Remove yourself. If they're not going to move, you remove yourself. And it's just that simple. I'm sure that even people, they have so much to say about, me or whatever the case is, and people probably talk about a lot of you too. It happens in life. People will talk about you. People will ridicule you because they're upset, because there's something that's missing in their life. I'm telling you, ladies, don't ever be one of those people. And if you were that person, I want to give you a fresh start. If you were looking for a sign, this is the sign. Right now, decide. I don't want to be that person anymore. I don't want to keep lashing out on people anymore. I don't want to keep talking about people anymore. I don't want to keep making fun of people anymore. I'm tired of being a bully. I want to be a nice person. I want to love people. I understand that I'm acting out because I don't feel good enough. I'm acting out because I don't feel like I'm loved at home. Start fresh right now. And for the people that are accepting behavior like this, stop. You deserve more. You deserve better. And it's so hard to see when you're in the situation, but when you're out, I'm telling you, you can feel and experience what it's like to be genuinely happy. It's inexplicable. It is. And that's why it's so important that I encourage you guys and that I share my stories with you guys, because I want to genuinely help you guys get through these things, get out of these things, avoid these things. That's what I'm here to do. Okay? So guys, that is the end of this video. Comment down below with a heart if you made it all the way to the end. And guys, please do not forget to, of course, subscribe to this channel if you have not already. Also, if you have not already, still turn on the post notifications, which is the bell, which is somewhere on this thing below the bell. Click that, pause this video, click that. Thank you, so that you guys are notified every time that I post. Do not forget, if you guys have any suggestions, to leave them down below. I will answer them. I answer all my comments. Yeah, I'm very responsive. Also, I want to give a huge shout out to again to Jen M, because she did post me on her Insta story, and I told you guys in my last video that if you post me on your story, I will give you a shout out. If you did not get a shout out this time, guys, do not worry. I will give you a shout out in my other video. All you have to do is tag me on your Instagram story, giving my channel a shout out, and I will give you a shout out in my next video. I love you, and God loves you. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.